It's Ask a Trader. This is the first time I'm doing this here from Courage Pays Better Than Fear, but wanted to just offer some support, insight to anybody out there who's pursuing trading, investing, you name it, and just share my experiences and help with any questions that you have. Look at any charts that you have. Hey, Derek, good to see you. Well, can't see you, but glad that you're here on the Zoom. Um, but yeah, just excited that you guys are here. So today will be, being that this is the first time I'm doing this, I am going to do it weekly. It'll probably get longer as we go along. But this one will be about 25 minutes because I have to make sure that I'm at the bus stop to get my kids off the bus. Um, but yeah, so I'm here to answer any questions that you have. And obviously, you got to throw them in the chat there so that I can answer them for you. But we'll just start. I'll pull up the chart so the charts are up here, and we could take a look at what's going on, and I could use that to answer any questions that you have. And this is a little scout that I just took here at the end of the day. I actually got out of this before I hopped in here because I didn't want to think about what was going to happen here. So I snagged just a little gain there off of Apple. So go ahead, fire away your questions. We got some coming in here. Are you presenting anything or just answering questions? I'm going to just walk through some of the charts here, just talk about what's happening. So it's your time to ask me whatever you'd like. All right. So Derek, how do you place an entry for an option? Limit order on the stock price or manually when an alert triggers? So you could do it any way. You could do a stop limit order so that you get filled at your desired price. The challenge with that is you have to be patient that you're going to get filled at that price. Typically, what I'll do is I don't do stop limit orders for my options. I will wait until let's say that I'm buying a call on a stock that I'm bullish on. I'll wait till my conditions are met. And what I mean by that, it's a stock that I'm bullish on. It's pulling back, it's having a red day. And what I'll do is I'll just find the mid price and limit order in at that price. So I have to wait for it to pull down into that area. And so once I submit it, I might not get filled right away, but it'll be in there. And typically within, I'd say a minute to 2 minutes, my order does get filled. So limit orders for my options. I use Interactive Broker, so it's pretty easy to do that. So I don't know if that's helpful or not. But I don't. So for all my trades, I do stop limit orders so that I'm getting filled at my desired price. With options, it's a little bit different because I'm not a day trader of options unless I'm significantly profitable when I get into a position. But typically, I'm buying my options if I'm going long with calls or puts. I'm buying 3 to 4 months out to give myself time for the trade to work out, and then if it's not working out in my favor, then I could cut the cord early and still have that time value on my side so that it mitigates my loss. Okay. Yeah, for a swing trade, like I said, I'll just watch the chart. I won't set a stop limit if I'm going, bullish on with calls on a particular stock. I won't set a stop limit. I'll just wait for my conditions to be met. I'll just be monitoring the daily chart. And then when I'm there, go into my broker, pull up the options chain, find the strike that I want, and then just execute the trade. So that's how I do it. You're welcome. Yeah, a little bit of so just go ahead and throw your stuff in here while you guys are putting questions in there, just kind of talking about what's happening in the broader markets. If we look at today, just kind of it's pretty choppy today. Here's the S&P. popped a little bit this morning off of Tesla earnings, but then you had, and again, the earnings weren't great for Tesla, right? They missed all their financials, but it's the growth component with Robotaxi, their new cheaper EVs that they said they're going to get to production earlier. So it's more on what can be other than what currently exists. But you could see that that pop didn't last very long, sold off, came back up, and we are making lower highs here, which is interesting. And the big thing to watch for today is Meta reports earning at market close. And if they have a positive earnings call, if they have a beat, they have good forward guidance, I think you're going to see us push up to that next leg higher. And I know that there's probably some panic out there after we had all that selling, that really started on the 1st of April. April's typically seasonally a very strong month for the market, but not this April. And we finally got our correction. It was well needed, but there was some panic amongst the bulls here today. But this candle is closing very nicely here. For those of you familiar with the 10 EMA strategy, if we're looking at this daily, that's pretty nice. And so everybody's going to be watching Meta earnings to see what happens. If it's strong, it'll be a bullish day tomorrow. Heather says, I'm kind of just here to learn from what is asked. That's all good. So Derek, go ahead. You can, we got 5 participants now. All right. That's what I like to see. Tony's in here. Bill, Derek, Heather, Tony. All right. So you guys can fire away. And if not, and like I said, I'll just talk about the markets here a little bit while I'm waiting for your questions here. Let's take a look. So let's take a look at Meta. So Meta is reporting earnings today. So this is Meta on the daily chart. And you can see the last time Meta reported earnings was February 1st. And they were in an uptrend. You could see here, nice little move higher, pull back into the 50 EMA on the daily, move higher, pull back into the 20, move higher, pull back into that 10. And that day of earnings there on February 1st, you could see that we sold down, right? And boom, we popped. So this was a really nice gap that held for Meta on earnings. And it moved. If you look at that next day's candle, we get to the tip of that upper wick. That's a $91 move. And really what's been happening since that time is this to me just looks like accumulation, right? There haven't been any strong drops here on Meta. Anytime that it did pull back, it was saved by the 20. We did close below the 20 a few times here. And we did come down and hit that 50 when we were in that corrective period last week, but it did find support there. And today's going to be pretty interesting. I mean, it could go either way. If you go back to the last few times Meta has reported earnings, I moved my line. I don't want to do that. But we could see here. So this was in October. This was earnings. So we gapped down. It did get bought back up. Okay. If we go to July, we gapped up, but actually this one faded and sold off, right? But if you go back to the last spring, winter, you could see that we gapped up at the beginning of February, and then we gapped up again in April. So, that just because it happened last year that we had those 2 consecutive gap ups doesn't mean that it's going to. But there is precedent for it. We'll watch it. It looks like some buyers are coming in here at the end of the day on Meta. Again, nice sell-off, V-shaped recovery, a little bit of a bounce here. And this will be interesting. They report right at 4 o'clock, so we get to see those crazy candles come through. And speaking of crazy candles, let's take a look at Tesla yesterday on their earnings report. And Tesla has just been, it's been a sufferfest for anybody who owns Tesla, trades Tesla. Well, not if you trade Tesla, because you could have been shorting the pants off of it. But you could see here, it was in the 140s, 144 at the close of the market. And then bang, this thing just ran higher. The earnings call started around 5:30, and Elon was talking, and investors, traders like what he had to say. It got up to a high of 163, and we just kind of chopped pre-market. It did hit a high intraday here today, 167, and then it's just been hanging out. So I am a fanboy. Yes, I am an Elon. I have two Elon t-shirts. I'm almost finished with his the Walter Isaacson biography. I think I have like 15 pages left, so that'll be done. And I own a Tesla and I have a Cybertruck reservation. So, and I am long-term Tesla, long-term Tesla with lots of shares, but I'm talking I'll be in that for forever. I'm not looking to abandon that position. So that was Tesla. So again, they weren't great. They weren't great earnings. If we go look at the numbers here, you could pull this up on TradingView. You could see, missed both the earnings and the revenue. So not good. But again, it's been in this downtrend. So what we have to see here is, can it push higher, or is it just gonna just continue to drop? So I don't know. But it's definitely down significantly from the highs that it made last July. It was up in the 299 range. And I think it'll eventually come back. It's just going to take time. Some people think that it's going to come down into the 120 range, even revisit those lows of 101 last year. Anything's possible. You do have all these gaps overhead to fill on Tesla, and we actually fill this guy today and are close to filling this one here. But what's interesting is, when you look at this daily chart, is you could see this big juicy bear candle here that's right at the top of that gap, and notice that this area is being protected. So the bears that are in this candle are holding pretty steady here. In order for Tesla to push higher, it's going to have to close above this candle, trap these bears, get a push higher, and then this gap up above here that was made, when was this? This was March 4th into the 5th. That would be the next target to look at. But it's not just going to be a straight shot up. It's gonna grind from here, so it will take some time. Let's take a look at what else is going on. Nvidia had a nice move the last 2 days after selling off last week. And then this candle came in. That's not exactly bullish, right? Because you had this nice little pop here, but this bear candle's coming in and trapping these bulls here. Now, it wasn't a lot of volume yesterday, so it's going to be interesting to see how Nvidia responds tomorrow. Again, that's where these meta earnings are going to be important, because it'll drive the whole market. And that's just look at Nvidia too, just in terms of how many black candles we've had here out of the last couple of weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 out of 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 9 out of 14. If you go to the weekly, you could see you had 4 weeks in a row of selling on Nvidia. You do have some buying here, and we still have 2 days left to go in the week. But to find 4 days of selling, historically, recent history for Nvidia, you've got to go back quite a ways, to really back here to 2022, when we were in that bear market. So what followed those 4 selling weeks? 1, 2, 3, 4 up weeks. Now we'll see if we can get that here, or if we're going to come lower. I think I see something in the chat here. How does the SPX and the QQQ affect the whole market? By the way, I made 1,100 on Bank of America and BABA today. All right, good job, Tony. So the paper money. So what, man? That's still good. Congratulations. I'm pumped for you. That's where you start. You start with paper, right? And then you go from there. Remember, I'm the guy who just started with cash like a moron. So you're doing it the right way. But when we talk about the Qs and the SPY, these are reflections of the broader market. So the S&P 500, the top 500 most profitable companies traded on the New York Stock Exchange, right? So this just gives us a feel for the overall trend and sentiment and health of the markets, right? And just, so you can zoom out. We're here on the daily chart, and you could just see how hard we ran after this correction we got from August through the end of October, right? Really without any sort of a correction. We got a correction. Now it might not be over. We could come lower, but the S&P, the SPX gives you a feel for, all right, where are we in totality of the markets? The Qs are important because this is the representation of all your major tech stocks. So your Metas, your Nvidias, your AMDs, your Microsofts, your Apples, all those are in the QQQ. And so big tech drives the markets. So the QQQ gives you a feel for what's happening in big tech. And you can see that it moves pretty similar to the SPX. So if I just pull up here QQQ and I come over here and pull up SPX, you could see if we just compare, the recent happenings, they're similar, right? So the way we're using QQQ, the way we're using SPX or the Qs or the SPY, we're using it to get a feel for overall trends in the broader markets, the bigger markets. Okay. Again, correction. We had correction. The Qs actually corrected more than the SPX. That was about an 8% correction. Almost hit that 10%. And on the SPX, we got about almost a 6% correction. Okay. So you can see I have all sorts of broader indices here. The Dow Jones Industrial DIA, the S&P 500 futures. This opens at 6 p.m. every night during the weekdays. It gives you some sort of an idea of what's going to happen the next day in the market. The IWM, this is your small cap stocks. iShares Russell 2000. VIX, this is the volatility index, which when you have Fed meetings, when you have potential rate increases, if you have geopolitical tensions occurring, you're going to see this thing spike. This thing did spike with those tensions between Israel and Iran. And then I also have TLT on here. This is 20-year Treasury bonds. Let's get a feel for the bond market. So I say all that. That was pretty long-winded, but all these indices and different sectors just give you a feel for how things are transpiring in the markets. All right. So that was a long-winded answer to your question. So hopefully you got some value out of that. All right. Heather puts on here, our nephew trades Bitcoin. We're looking forward to trading info with him. Is there another way to do that other than the stock? So for Bitcoins, it's not a stock. It's crypto, which it's an entirely different. Hang on, let me come over here. It's an entirely different asset class, right? It's 24-hour day trading 7 days a week. However, you use a candlestick chart to trade it. The difference with crypto is you're trading fractional increments of the coin, or if you're not trading Bitcoin, you're trading some other type of crypto like Ethereum or some of those other coins that are out there. You can see that BTC, it's $64,000 a coin. Well, you're not going to trade one whole coin. You're going to be trading fractional shares of that unless you're a billionaire, right? Which you're not yet. Neither am I. We're going to be though, right? That's why we're trading. We'll be there soon. But if you could read a chart, you could trade anything. That's the main thing. So your understanding of candlestick charts, what you're working on learning, you can share with him to help him learn how to better trade this asset. All right, Bill says, if the stock market decides to remain open for the entire 24-hour day, oh, I saw that 7 days a week. That's bad for me because that's all I'm going to want to do. I'm gonna have to really demonstrate some self-restraint. What does that mean for day traders? Will that affect the typical big swings in volume that is seen now at market open? No more gaps, up, down opportunities. Bill, that's a great question. And when I was driving my kids to school the other day, I was thinking about that. What are the ramifications of a 24-hour a day, 7-day a week market? And it's definitely going to change things. Because you're right. There's, when the market shuts down on Friday, you have all weekend where traders and investors are prepping for the next week. And it's almost like all this energy is being pent up, and on Monday, whether it's bullish or bearish, it gets released. But if it's 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, yeah, I mean, it would definitely, I would see it impacting the way things function and move. Now, I would think there would be less volume during those weekend sessions or evening sessions. I mean, you can trade right now post-market and pre-market. But yeah, I mean, I'm in the process of thinking about that. Do I know exactly how that's going to impact it? No, but will it? Yes. It will. And again, I still don't think there will be as much volume on the weekends. I think your bigger moves will take place during the week. But take this into account. 2 weeks ago, whenever Iran launched the drone attack on Israel and there was a huge sell-off in Bitcoin, if that happens, then you're able to hop into your broker and try to capitalize on that down move. Or traders and investors are able to liquidate positions sooner. So it can provide a little bit more confidence in your assets, knowing that you are able to liquidate them if needed in a 24-hour market. So those are just some things that just jump to my mind as we're talking through that. So hopefully that was helpful. Not yet. That's right. We will get there. We are going to get there. All right. So I got about 3 minutes before I have to go grab the kiddos off the bus. But again, this is going to be a recurring feature. I just want to give more. I know that when I started trading, to have something like this just to jump on and talk, this would be helpful. So that's what I'm trying to do here. I will post the video from this for people to watch. Let's just kind of take a look here, see what has transpired the little bit of time we've been talking. Let's just look at the 3-minute here. SPY's just kind of hanging out. Lower highs, Qs, same thing, lower highs. Dow Jones, it's kind of a choppy day, really. Let's take a look at. So I will tell you this: I'm waiting to get a piece of this. So this is ExxonMobil. I'm waiting for this double top to come in. I know oil's hot right now, but I will be shorting this. And the reason why is if you go back and look, the last few times it's made all-time highs, double top and crash. Double top, crash. Double top, crash. So whenever you hear oil is dropping, I want you to think of me, because I am going to short ExxonMobil. I will get it. And typically you see higher high double tops. So I'm waiting for a higher high to come in around this 125. I'll actually go in on the short when we get around there and then add as it comes down. So I'm watching for that one. All right, let's get a couple more questions here. All right, so no other questions. And with that, I'm gonna shut it down here so I can get outside, go grab the kiddos off the bus. But I appreciate you being here. I hope you enjoy this. I will post a video. Please leave some comments on it so we can get more people in here next time. And have a great day, everyone. Take care. We'll see you.